In episode 131, and welcome into the Bench is Cleared podcast, where we cover the best rivalry in all of sports. I am Jesse Gutierrez, and I represent the side of the San Francisco Giants, who will be playing a game today, whenever you hear this.
And I'm representing the Dodgers side. I'm Dave Contreras. Dodgers will be playing their third game tomorrow, so they already got a win. So they got a leg up on everybody already.
And they also have a loss. But let's talk about the Dodgers.
Let's not talk about that.
Let's talk about the Dodgers, because everything is all about the Dodgers. Marsha.
Always. It revolves around us, man.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about how Will Smith is going to be your catcher for the next 10 years. And he's going to be a 40-year-old guy catching behind the plate. How do you feel about it?
Great. They got extremely great value. I mean, 14 a year. Crazy for a guy of his abilities. It's I'll do that deal 10 out of 10 times, which now only means that rushing Cartaya and Luriziano, he might be the one that stays, but the other two might be chips at the deadline now for sure. So I think this deal gives Friedman more chips for the deadline and the future, and gives Will Smith the security, and we got our catcher, a top 3 catcher in the league for 10 more years. Pretty excited about it.
And I've seen a lot of things about his metrics being really good, and everything looks really good. Top of the war in catchers or something, whatever.
Jealousy. I can just feel the jealousy.
Does Austin Barnes also get one of those too, or what?
Austin Barnes is lucky to be there, man.
Well, I mean, because I think you don't want to trade away. I just don't understand. I don't get the. Okay, so I don't know, because I get it. $14 million for a position player like that. That's tremendous value. It is. But catchers usually break down at like 35, and then you also got Shohei, who's going to be DHing, doesn't do anything but DH. And then you're probably, when Mookie gets a little older, you're going to want him to DH a little bit. I don't know. That's just, I feel like it's just a lot of, don't get me wrong. It's going to be great. Maybe in like 6 years, it's going to suck, for those 6 years. But, after that, maybe it might work out for us. I don't know.
I feel like it's perfect. I mean, it'd be a stretch to put him at third when Muncy leaves, because he hasn't played there in, forever. But I think it's more, I can see him moving to first when Freddie leaves. That makes more sense to me.
Right.
So, I think they'll be okay. And as far as Barnes, he's a great backup, dude. He does what a backup does. I like to tease him and stuff, but it's what a backup does. You just need him to go out there and play good defense, and he does a good job of it.
Catches the ball. I get it.
He catches the ball.
And I guess a backup catcher, it's not like, I don't know. It's because I feel like eventually Will Smith will be your backup catcher. I guess you can move him to first base a little bit, and then at some point maybe just, maybe you do keep your top catching prospect if he comes up, and then you kind of, move Will Smith to kind of backup catcher / first base. That was supposed to be like the plan when I think when Joey Bart and Patrick Bailey were going to be a thing, but it looks like Joey Bart's probably out of there. But
at some point, Freddie Freeman is going to start to have taking days off just because he's getting older. I know the guy is like, wants to play every single game, but that's how you start putting Smith over there. Let him get acquainted with the spot, and
How old is Freddie?
He's gone. You should be okay.
How old is Freddie?
30. I don't know. Off the top of my head, I'm not sure. Let's see.
I guess there's the old Google machine, and we could check that in a second. But I don't know, man. I would love to just hate on Will
34.
Smith all day.
He's 34.
Oh, he's 34.
Yeah.
You got him for another 5 years. Fuck, dude. You have a lot of 40-year-old dudes on that team.
Yeah. At one point, it's going to be a retirement home, but until then.
Until then, we got another
until then, we'll enjoy it for now.
5-6 years of not a good time over here. I think it definitely is a good signing. I love to just hate on it, but it's really hard to. I guess the only thing you can hate on is maybe 6 or 7 years, but when you got Dodger money, you can just release them, I guess. But there's a lot of people throwing around money. Do you think Jordan Montgomery for 25 million is an overpay? Is a really question. Is a really big question.
No, I think possibly Eduardo Rodriguez is injured more than they want to say, so maybe they needed to do that move. They needed to sign him, but I think he's a quality starter. He's not gonna
Yeah.
wow you, but he's gonna be there all year long and be consistent.
Right, and he's definitely a consistent guy. I know he had a career year last year, but it's not like it was abnormally like out of nowhere, if that makes sense. Like he's been pretty solid for a lot ever since he left the Yankees.
And we
Um,
and we you said it last week, man. There's no such thing as a bad 1 year deal.
correct.
So
Right. So yeah, there's no such thing as a bad year 1 year deal. You got to think about just your starters in general. I mean, when you look, and not only that, there's only like three and a half lefty starters in the NL West, anyways. So I mean, it's good to have a couple of maybe Austin Slater will finally get a couple ABs.
maybe, yeah. Now he doesn't have to wait till Kershaw comes back. He put it a little
Exactly.
sooner.
They only do that for no. I'm just joking. I love Austin Slater, and I really hope he gets a little more playing time. But at the same time, I'm also a Luis Matos truther. I don't know if the time is over with just Austin. I don't know, but I love him. I hope he gets more at bats. I don't know how, and I don't even want to think about it because hey,
Hey, man, my prediction, well, not my prediction, but my statement that the NL West might have the best pitching staff overall
right,
collectively is maybe not be far off anymore. They got a lot of
right.
good talent there, man.
I mean, you look at the entire offseason, if you just looked at the NOS versus the rest of the league, I mean, besides trading for Corbin Burns, Juan Soto, the rest of the league, I mean, there's not a whole lot going on. I mean, I guess Austin Nola, I'm not sure if you can count that as, I mean, it's a re-sign, but everyone else is kind of slacking.
Yeah,
And what
I
the
can't
fuck
think
was
of a
Boston thinking? I think that was like a match made in heaven, and just Boston didn't want to pull the trigger.
he want. I felt like he wanted to go there,
Yeah,
and
that
they
was the
just
rumor.
did
He
not make
wanted
it
to
happen.
go.
I don't know what their plan is. Like, why did they sign Giolito then? Like, I don't get it. And
Yeah,
then their big move just explodes in their face because he's injured for the whole year.
yeah,
So
that's true. Yeah, and then Rafael Devers is upset. Maybe they just do another Mookie Betts and they just trade him to, I don't know, some other team in the NL West who's going to have
no, I
a
mean,
third
it
baseman
works so
vacancy next
well.
year.
It works so well with the Dodgers, and they, Muncy for Devers. Who says no?
No, no, no. No, 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 no. Muncy just re-signed for like 4 years, didn't he?
I think it's 3 years. Yeah.
Whatever. You're stuck at third. You're blocked. So Rafael Devers, come to San Francisco. Come on down.
Is that a bold prediction that Devers is going to get moved?
That is not a bold prediction. That would be a bold prediction for the offseason. In no way, I don't
Okay.
think it's going to happen. I think you could tell that he was a little upset. At what was it, a couple months ago? They interviewed him or whatever, and he was talking about how everyone knows what we need. So something like this, I feel he can't. It's going to rub guys the wrong way. The Giants are looking for someone they can have long term, and what better way to acquire someone than someone that doesn't have the choice to go there by trading for him. So you can't finish second if you don't give them a choice. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that's where we are. Maybe it's a match made in heaven. Or I'll just be like every year and we'll come in second and
Hey man,
fucking
it's a good theory. We'll see at the closer to the deadline. Who
yeah.
knows? Maybe rumors will pick up.
Well, you got match. I'm talking off season. Off season, we can put our tinfoil hats on and we'll make that bold prediction. But for right now, I put out a tweet into the Twitterverse. I'm not a Twitter pro like Big Dave over here, but we put out there. We asked if there was one trade you could take back from your team. What would it be? We got a lot of replies of a whole bunch of different things. kind of funny. I love the was it Shawnee Wani talked about the trade for AJ Brzezinski because fuck that guy. You can quote me on that. That one's good. But there's a lot. There's a lot of crazy trades that obviously hindsight's 2020. But Dave, if you can pick, I don't know, what are the main ones? Let's go over a couple of them. What are the main ones if you could take back? What would you do?
So obviously, everybody, if you're a Dodger fan, Pedro Martinez, man, how did they trade him? You know what I mean? And then he went on to be super successful, Hall of Fame career, world champion, and it's just awful. But I mean, for people more my age, probably Jordan. It's got to be the clear choice because it's a ripple effect. Maybe we don't get Ohtani, but I mean, I wonder how many World Series we might have won with him already. With him, being in the lineup, changes things. But
because he got the clutch gene.
It's what?
He's got the clutch gene.
Yeah, he definitely has the clutch gene, man. So that's a tough one to watch because every postseason he gets a huge hit, and we're reminded every single postseason that we gave him up for some random guy that was awful in the World Series. Thank you, Josh Fields, but I mean, he is no Jordan Alvarez. So yeah,
it's almost like Josh Fields maybe could have even given you like a heads up, like, hey, just so you know, they're making trash cans over there. Could have at least done that for you.
Something.
He could have at least given you something over there, but took away your hopes of dreams of Jordan Alvarez.
But I mean, so definitely that's the number one. But if I'm being like selfish, just me, just my own personal, Paul LaDuca.
Selfish.
Paul LaDuca, for my own reasons. Paul LaDuca, when he was traded to the Marlins, oh my God. I think that trade.
I feel like Soldier Boy right now. Who?
You don't remember our short little catcher? Come on, punk. Man. Anyways, he was my favorite player. And I think when they traded him, it broke me. And ever since then, I'm like, man, if anybody gets traded, who cares? Like, it's a business sometimes, or it's, whatever is best for the team, or, so you can't get married to players as much as you may love them because they can be gone in a second.
I'd love to get married to a player and then just be taking care of the rest of your life. That sounds like a great, great life.
Ohtani's already taken, man. That was probably the best one to go with.
Yeah, his plain normal wife.
Hey, although I mean, you can learn some Japanese, and you'll get that job as a translator right now.
That's true. Yeah, who knows? I mean, there's a lot for me. And like I said, I'm always, and in no way am I trying to say, oh, they shouldn't trade for dudes, or prospects are made to be are for trading. If you're a prospect hugger, you're never going to make any good trade acquisitions. But the ones that hurt the most, obviously from the position player side, and we're talking about just right now, the guys that can help you for this team at what we're talking about is gotta be Brian Reynolds. Would love him in the outfield right now. But man, there's also a duo of guys that could have had this. This would be like the craziest rotation in the world, right? If you had Logan Webb up top, you had Luis Castillo, who the Giants traded for Casey effing McGee, who they ended up releasing that same year. And then what if they never traded Zach Wheeler away for Carlos Beltran? And then, in a crazy what if situation, they would have not been cheap and signed Kevin Gausman and still had Blake Snell. That would be insanity, Linsanity. But yeah, so Luis Castillo, Zach Wheeler, and in all honesty, Carlos Beltran did his job. I mean, I know they didn't make the playoffs, but he's only one man. He was kind of hurt a lot, but he was still good when he was there. So sucks. Wish we had Zach Wheeler, but it hurts more when it comes to a guy like Luis Castillo when you trade for Casey Mother effing McGee, who was just a waste of space over there.
Yeah, but it's not as bad as Jordan. Because, I mean, yeah, Luis Castillo is great, but this guy is a monster in the playoffs, dude.
What?
You think it's
top rotation guys right here?
You think it's comparable? Castillo. I don't think it's comparable.
I think it's comparable.
I don't know, man. I think this guy is a future Hall of Famer. I don't know if Castillo's a Hall of Famer. You think it's a Hall of Famer?
I would have to. I doubt it, but I mean, you have to look at numbers. But I mean, I don't know. That's a good question. I, you know, it was kind of funny. There's sometimes when you have in your head, we're like, dude, this guy was been so good for so long. He is probably going to be he's got to have like really good career numbers and all this kind of. I thought that about Johnny Cueto because I felt like he was always coming second or third in Cy Young finishes behind Clayton Kershaw, and was like, well, if Clayton Kershaw wasn't there, he probably would have had multiple Cy Youngs, you know, pitching in Cincinnati. And I was like, oh, he's pitched for a long time. He's probably a Hall of Famer. Then I looked up the numbers and I was like, oh shit, he's not close. So sometimes like your mind plays tricks on you.
Yeah.
So we've opening days right here, guys. We've made it. We're here. By the time you listen to this,
hours away, man.
We will be. If you listen to it right when this episode drops, probably close to midnight on this Thursday, it would be quite a ways away. Go to sleep. What are you doing? But
no, don't listen to it. The night is young. You stay up and you listen.
That's right. If you're waking up and you're on your ride to work, you're almost there. We're almost there. So we're gonna make some, I guess, kind of bold predictions. But we're going to make some predictions of the year. We like to do that before the season. But, we're going to do our normal format, 5 around the league and 5 on our team. Dave, let's hear your number 1.
You want my team prediction or you want my league prediction?
No, let's go around the league. Let's talk about the league, and then we can talk about how great we are.
Okay, I'm going to start with a pretty basic one. The 2 NL West teams are going to make the wild card.
Yeah. You don't want to narrow it down. You don't want to say which 2?
Yeah, like the Padres and the Giants, man.
Oh, Diamondbacks are missing the playoffs.
Yes.
Or are you saying the Diamondbacks are going to win the division because they were actually in the World Series last year, and the Dodgers are going to miss out?
Listen, I'm not going to take anything away from them last year. They beat us. They beat us pretty handily. They swept us. Sure, and they went to the World Series, but I think they just got on a run. I don't know if they'll do it again. And there's a lot more competition in the division. So I think I like the rotations a little better in San Francisco and San Diego. At least the first 3 of each of those clubs.
Oh, say that. Talk dirty to me. Okay.
And it pains me to say that. But yeah, I feel like those 2 teams are making the playoffs.
Okay, I like that. I would like that prediction. I would love to go to a Dodger Giant playoff game again. Hopefully this time not get something thrown at me. Yeah, my number one is going to be, I made this a couple years ago because I always feel they're on the cusp. They're right there. And I'm going to keep making this prediction till it comes true. The Detroit Tigers are making the playoffs this year. They're doing it.
Not if they keep letting Javi Baez play games for them, man.
Yeah, that brings the real estate down, but
a little bit, huh?
Riley Green, I think he is like right there. I think Spencer Torkelson can definitely, be a very good, the prospect he's rumored to be. But that rotation, I mean, I think Jack Flannery is going to have a good year. They have Kenta Maeda's, and then obviously their homegrown guys, Skubal and Mize. But they got reinforcements. You know what I mean? They got Mark Hanna.
A lot of people, their young pitcher Skubal to be the Cy Young winner this year.
That's what I'm saying. Like I have a soft spot for the Tigers. I don't 100% know why, but I do. Tigers making the playoffs because that AL Central is also pretty shot. Actually, though, but the Twins actually look pretty good this year. But I'm still going with it. Tigers making the playoffs. Let's go.
I mean, that's bold, but that's not bold.
That's pretty bold.
Like if you had said that the A's are making the playoffs, then I'm like, yeah,
but that's just dumb.
This mother effer is a bold son of a gun.
Like, no, that's not bold. That's stupid. You can't teach
just lunacy. Okay. Let me see. Around the league, my second one.
Okay.
I think Acuna is going to surpass his stolen bases this year.
What did he have last year?
He had 73.
73.
Yeah.
So we're thinking 75 at least. Well,
at
74,
least 75.
You know.
Yeah. That lineup is loaded, man. I know that the Dodgers get a lot of like they're the shiny new toys. I get it, but that lineup is pretty loaded. So he's gonna have plenty of opportunities again.
No, no, yeah, definitely. I mean, who can? And I remember people. I think before last year, people were talking about because I think he ended the year pretty bad in 2022, if I'm not mistaken. Am I crazy? Am I imagining that? I could have swore coming into 2023, people were saying Acuna is not the player that he should be, or he's on his downfall. I don't know. Maybe I'm imagining that, but I could have swore I heard some stuff like that.
Yeah.
Man,
No, I think there was stuff like that going around.
yeah.
Didn't they lost to the Phillies that year too, right?
2 years in a row. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
So
yeah.
yeah, 75 bases, but you go home on the first round. Loving it. Number 2 for me.
Let's hear it.
Milwaukee Brewers don't make the playoffs this year. They're done. They're gone. They're cut off. They lose.
As Boulder. As
Burns.
Boulder. Who do you got in front of them?
They lose Burns. They lose Woodruff. They are gonna have. This is part of the same prediction. This is just a little add-on. But I think Adames and Williams are going to get traded out the trade deadline.
Yeah, I mean, Adames would be a perfect fit for the Dodgers if it ever happens. But I don't know, man. They're in a division with the freaking
everybody.
Yeah, we can, and we will. We'll just have them on reserve, even if they don't play. They'll just be on reserve,
Apparently,
we have the Cardinals. You think they're going to be better than the Brewers?
I think so. I think they're gonna. I think last year was a weird ass year. Like I feel like you should just crumple it up and throw it away, and not even like at this point the same way that you look at the Giants' 107 win season. Like you can't go anything based on that right now. Like I feel like that's how the Cardinals season was.
But your argument would have a lot more stock if Lance Lynn wasn't a part of that rotation, man.
That is 100% true. But I don't know. I just feel like the Brewers were, they were neck and neck with the Cubs, and I think they got worse. I think they genuinely got worse. The Cubs, I mean, I guess you got to see what Imanaga, if what his deal is, if he's going to be better than the season that Stroman had. But I don't know. I might even like the Cubbies winning that because the NL Central is pretty shot too. So yeah, I like the Cubs probably most in that division.
Okay.
But I'm not going Cubs win the division. What I'm saying is Brewers do not win. Final answer.
They don't win and they don't make the playoffs.
Correct. They do not make the playoffs.
Cool. All right. All right. Okay. So for my number 3, this is now it's gonna get a little spicy. I think the Mets are gonna trade. The Mets are gonna trade the polar bear. He is gonzo at the deadline.
I like that.
They haven't given him. They haven't extended him, and there's a lot of rumors that he might be gone. So I think they're gonna get something for him before he's gone.
100%.
I don't know, but we'll see. I think he's definitely gone.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it. And I was like, they're not gonna. I'm like, oh, I would love to see him at the. But then again, they're not gonna throw away Lamont Wade and Wilmer. So not to the Giants, but yeah, I get it.
Hey, that's the only way he could not say no if he gets traded.
That's 100% true.
That's how you sell it to Farhan.
Yeah, they can't turn you down unless
they can't say no, man.
Right. So, all right, that's good. My number 3. I feel like there's a lot of Mike Trout disrespect going on, and it is wild to me because I feel like he's still very, very good, and I think he's got a point to prove because Ohtani's gone. I say Mike Trout plays over 120 games this year, which he hasn't done in the past 3 years. Technically 4, because 4 would be 2020, but can't really count that. But I think he plays a lot this year. I think he goes out, plays over 120 games. And yeah, Mike Trout going to be the man. Over 30 home runs. Let's go.
Listen, his back is going to be hurting from having to carry that team without no Ohtani. Rendon hates baseball.
100%.
And he already has back problems. Now he has to carry that whole team by himself.
But Ron Washington's just going to breathe so much life into him that, fuck it. Because you just said that, I'm going to up it to 130 games. There we go. He can play more than 130 games.
And we'll look back at this and be like, man, he played 125 and you were just off by 5.
Big facts.
That's our. Oh wait, we're on number 4.
Number 4.
Okay. This isn't really bold, but I feel like somebody has to pick something with them. So I feel like the A's are going to have a better record than the Rockies.
That's pretty bold.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is that bold?
It's not. They were off by a couple of games last year. They were like 6-7 worse than them. So I think this year they'll do better. They'll take turns being the shittiest team in the league for the next 3 years.
Okay, I like that one. My number 4. I don't think this is that bold. I think this Astros pitching is shot. I think they obviously still have a banging lineup, but you got the Rangers, you got the Seattle Mariners, progressing and getting better. The Astros do not win the AL East this year, so we don't have to hear any more cringy lines from Kanye from Alex Bregman.
I don't know, man. They're like a cockroach, dude. They're so hard to kill. They keep coming back. So
I get it. And just just like last year, you thought they were dead, and then at the last minute they won the division. I get it, but that rotation's not very good. I mean, yeah, you got Josh Hader, and they have a banging lineup, but I don't know. Pitching is what gets you through the season.
Yeah, and for the most part, they had pretty good pitching before. Now it's just getting older,
right?
So yeah, we'll see.
No.
I don't think you're too far off there, but we'll see. It's just like I said, they're so hard to kill, man. They're so hard to get rid of. So
we'll find out right when after the World Series. We'll figure out how stupid we are.
Okay, my final one, and this one's the spiciest take of all.
Give me spicy.
I just feel like there's too much against them. I feel like the Yankees are not making a postseason.
Wow, that is pretty spicy.
So they're counting on Stroman, Rodon, who is not playing well. I mean, who is not pitching well in spring. Right. It doesn't mean anything.
It's right.
Yeah, and then who's the other one? Nestor Cortez. I just think it's going to get late early, and then it's going to be too late for Garrett Cole to come back and save them.
It's going to get late early. It's
going to get late early. I mean, that team is going to literally have to win 10-9 ball games. I feel like they're going to have to outslug every single team if they don't get a good pitching performance. So, and they just didn't go after any pitching. Like they had needs. They didn't go after Snell. They still had needs, and they didn't go after Montgomery. They couldn't land
they have
them.
like a 300 plus payroll. So, but then you should at that point you should trade a little bit to get at least some guys that are like knocking on the door for some depth. It really depends on who Rodon is. Is Rodon going to be that guy he was with the Giants, or is he be the guy he is with the Yankees? I think Stroman is. So I'm a big Stroman fan, but
I think he's a good pitcher, man. But I think he's a bit of a head case sometimes. So if something goes wrong, I don't know. It's like a ticking bomb.
He's either going to be really great with that Yankee fan base, or it's going to be pretty bad quick.
Yeah,
it's going to get late early.
I think I don't know. I think he'll be all right. He's got a lot of fire, that dude. Yeah, I don't see him making the playoffs.
All right. Well, this isn't that bold because we see it every single year, but I'm just going to speak it into existence because fuck these guys, and you can quote me on that. My last one around
Let's mute this part because I can already feel it. I can feel the hate.
The Dodgers don't make it past the NLCS this year, and they just cry about the format. Oh my gosh, it's the format. It's the format that's did it against us. The world's against us. Oh my gosh. That's all we're gonna hear about.
I feel like that's the lowest of bar. Like, you gotta at least get to the NLCS if you're Roberts. I feel like if he doesn't, I think he's gone. I don't think not winning the World Series this year is like
barring him making a mistake. If we're just going based on last year, you can't fire Dave Roberts when Freddie and Mookie have like 2 hits in the NLDS.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I mean? So but if Yeah, if there's some questionable things, questionable moves, I can maybe see it, but I don't know. I get what you're saying.
I just think they spent so much money. Like, what can you got to do your job now, dude. You got to make it work. Like,
Yeah.
let's go. Let's get to work.
I would love to say they would make it past the NLDS, but they did that literally 2 years in a row. I think they're for sure gonna go unless they play the Giants. Then yeah, fuck no, they're gonna stay. They're gonna get murked in the NLDS. But if they don't, then I think that they can't lose NLDS 3 years in a row. I think they will make it to the NLCS. But
it's not a reach though, man, because
it's not.
Whoever makes the NLDS it's probably gonna have a really good pitching staff, like against
right.
The Dodgers. So like, it's not a reach that they might not even make it out of that. But I think obviously they have enough talent, and if they're healthy, I think they should get to at least the NLCS.
I mean, we shall see, and hope and pray that it does come true. But while we're talking about these Dodgers, let's hear what you think about them with your first prediction in Dodger land.
I'm gonna go from the lowest one to the highest one. My first one is that they're gonna lead the league in home runs this year. Easy. I think you have Shohei, you have Muncy, you have Smith who can hit home runs. Teoscar Hernandez. I mean, any guy in that lineup can hit a home run. I don't think, unless Austin Barnes is in the lineup, I think any guy, even Barnes, can hit a home run. So,
right,
yeah, I think I don't know if that's too bold. I think they'll lead the league in home runs easily.
I don't think that's a huge reach. But while we're on home runs, I'll go from the bottom to the top too. I think my first Giants prediction is someone's going to break this 30 home run curse. I'm sick of hearing about this 30 home run curse every single year of my life. Well, obviously not my life, but because I am old. But whether it be Jorge Soler, whether it be Michael Conforto, doubtful. Whether, maybe Luis Matos or Marco Luciano are just that guy and they hit 30. Probably not. But my money's on Jorge Soler, but I'm going to make it a little broader. Someone breaks this 30 home run curse. We're seeing 30 home runs at Oracle.
Who was the closest? Who's been the closest?
The latest closest was Brandon Belt, hit 29 in 2021.
Ooh. How does he not have a job?
That is a good point. I do not know. And maybe, especially trade deadline time, let's say that there's a bidding war for Pete Alonso. Someone doesn't get him, and they say, you know what? Brandon Belt's actually not this pretty solid. Let's just give him the job. So, or maybe there's a big injury to someone at first base. But I think he gets a job somewhere at some point.
I mean, if Joey Votto got a job by posting sad memes,
right? That's true.
Then maybe
he's
Belt
just do it the Brandon Belt way and just do like just one 5-second videos of how great he is. Maybe just breaking down his own film about saying how awesome he is and how he'll lead his team to the promised land. Then yeah, maybe he'll get a job. So maybe I can hit him up. I'm like, dude, I got your social media. Let's run this thing, dude.
Maybe the Cardinals will get him since Giants don't like getting their old guys.
Damn. Let's do a quick check on Brandon Crawford, his spring training stats.
He's pretty bad, isn't he?
Yeah, pretty bad. I think it's looking pretty good because Nick Ahmed's doing better. Which spring training, nothing, but at the same time, if Nick Ahmed doesn't perform, really easy to cut his head off.
Yeah.
Or DFA in baseball terms.
All right. So my number 4, because I'm going backwards. One of the Cy Young finalists is going to be from the Dodger staff.
Okay.
It's not who you think. It's going to be Bobby Miller. I feel like he's going to be in the finalists.
I hear about fucking
He
Bobby
might be
Miller.
surrounded by other Dodgers, but he's definitely going to be in the finalists.
Definitely not Yamamoto. So yeah,
we'll see. Hey, maybe he's right behind him in votes.
Yeah. Well, if there's one thing that I feel like one of yours that would be a no, I think that would probably be the closest to being a no.
Maybe that's the only one I get right.
That's true. All right. Well, I'm gonna jump around because I'm not sure how I want to end. I didn't really do really crazy spicy ones. I'm still debating on which one I'm gonna go with my last one. But I'm gonna jump. This is my second one, and there's a lot of disrespect going on about this Giants bullpen. Giants, it seems like every year have a great bullpen. They got a great three-headed monster at the back of this bullpen. Camilo Duvall, one of the best closers in the game. You got Tyler Rogers. You got Taylor Rogers, which Taylor Rogers, he's going to have a great year this year. Okay. He's going to be a good 7, 8, 9. And Ryan Walker is like, if people are obsessed with Baseball Savant, they love Ryan Walker. He's supposed to be that guy. I know the end is a little shaky and rounding it up, but Farhan always finds guys like that. Nice relievers. So, long story short, Giants are going to be top 3 ERA and bullpen ERA by the end of the year. And that's just the way it is.
Okay. We'll see.
They're left out. They're left off the list. There's top 10 bullpen lists. Giants aren't on it. Pisses me off. Probably one of the best three-headed monsters in baseball. Suck it. Top 3 in ERA.
Those lists are just made to piss off people.
I know. I didn't want to be that guy. I literally wrote out a comment and then I deleted it before I posted because I was like, well, am I being that guy right now? But
yeah.
It still made me mad.
It's fine to get mad at stuff that we know it's made to be, so we can
made to get us mad. Right.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at.
My number 3, I think Will Smith will finally start an all-star game and get the nod that he rightly deserves. He gets overlooked all the time. He barely even made it as a backup last year. I mean, like, come on.
Right.
So I feel he starts his first all-star game this year.
Okay. I could get on board with that. That's fine. I'll allow that one. I'm happy. Okay.
Nice.
But then again, I mean, Patty Barrels is going to be throwing everybody out. No one's going to steal on him. So I don't know. I guess we'll see. See what people.
Yeah, but chicks dig the long ball, man.
I've actually heard there's a lot of women who actually prefer the short ball. So.
All right.
That's just what I've heard. What I've been told. My next prediction.
Let's go.
I think Luis Matos is gonna by the end of the year he's gonna become an everyday player in this lineup. I know at the moment you got to put Michael Conforto out there, and the platoon of Yaz and Slater and Wright. I don't know. I think there's going to be a trade looming. I think they're going to maybe want to dump some salary if Michael Conforto is not up to par. And I think Luis Matos, who has just had a monster spring, looks thick and is just, I don't know, man. He might break the 30 home run curse. I don't know, but he becomes an everyday player.
He looks what?
He looks thick.
Pause?
Thick. Donald Trump thick. All right.
I feel like the Dodgers and the Giants are in the same boat when it comes to outfielders like that. We have Andy Pajes, and I feel like by the end of the year he might take over right field or left or right. I feel like you'll see
I don't know
Matos
what the situation
playing
is
for
going to be.
the Giants, and you'll see Pajes playing for the Dodgers.
I can easily see like maybe they trade Slater and then they give Luis Matos the everyday right field, and then Yaz just becomes the fourth outfielder, bench piece to give people a day off, or
the
whatever.
Floater,
yeah, or maybe they dump Michael Conforto. I don't know, but I just know Luis Matos is going to be that guy.
All right, we'll see.
So,
I've got this one is going to be. You won't believe it, but I feel like Glasnow's going to pitch the whole season.
No, I like that.
I want to believe.
I never want guys to be hurt. I just want them, if they're in a Dodgers uniform, I just want them to fail. Like I don't like. I'm not gonna like if someone gets hurt. It's like, oh, they're out. I'm not like, oh man. Like it's like, cool, yeah, we don't want to face it, but I'm not rooting for that. Does that make sense?
Cheering for an injury, we will never do that. But...
Right? Yeah, I'm not cheering for an injury. It's just. I would want them to be healthy pitching and just get the snot beat out of them. So that's my hope.
Yeah, I just choose to believe that they fixed everything they needed to fix, and he's going to be fine, and he's going to pitch a whole year, and
So what is that? I mean, that's the thing though. Like when it comes to baseball nowadays, pitching the whole year means like you still have like one IL stint. So what are you saying? No, not more than one IL stint for Glasnow, or more than 2?
No more than 2. Because
okay. Two short ones.
The way the Dodgers operate, they'll find a way to give him some rest somewhere.
Exactly.
And
I'll accept it. If it's 2 short ones, I'll accept that.
Like 2 10-day ILs.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But if it's like one long one.
Yeah, something where they don't have the answer and they're like, we're just waiting. And it's like, it's another.
Right. When we do the review pod, it's going to be a for you.
So. We'll see. I don't think so.
Yeah. Well, let's go to a better starter. Probably not, but okay. Let's just go to another starter. I think Jordan Hicks stays in this rotation all season. I mean, you look at spring stats. They're spring stats, understandable, but just the way his shit was looking, it was nasty as shit. Sorry, I'm just saying shit a lot. It looked really nasty. He looked really good. And I don't know. I know that he can go to the back of the bullpen. It's going to be great and all that kind of stuff. But I don't know, man.
When's the last time he started? Like,
he started for the Cardinals. It's either last year or the year before. And he went 5 innings one time. But I think their experiment with him in the rotation was not good.
Well, I'm just saying, like, I feel like his stuff is nasty. But what would concern me is, like, fatigue, since he hasn't done it for a while.
Definitely. You know I do think that. But I don't think that they'll throw him in the bullpen to rest him. I think that they might just do a phantom
skip him.
Yeah, skip him.
6-man rotation at one point or something. Yeah.
When Robbie Ray comes up, let him go down or whatever. You have a bunch of guys in AAA that are knocking on the door. You have Kyle Harrison. You got guys like Keaton Wynn. You got guys like Mason Black. A bunch of guys that are right there. I think it's no big deal to be like, hey, we're gonna skip you a start, give you 10 days to do this. So but I don't think he goes to the bullpen. So that is my no bullpen for Jordan Hicks. That's it.
All right. And my last one is Shohei is going to lead the league in home runs. Okay. He's only focusing on offense this year. And I know I've said it plenty of times. All he has to worry about is hitting. No throwing, no nothing on off days, just purely hitting.
Right.
He's going to have a monster year. He's already saying that he wants to steal more. So, I mean, and when this guy focuses on something, he, puts his mind to it and gets it done. So we'll see. But I feel like
what if there's someone that's so good at focusing and juggling a lot of things? What if they focus on one thing and they can't handle it and they just implode?
That would, that could also happen. But this guy's going to be playing in Colorado now too. Which I can't wait to see him play in Colorado and hit some shots, man.
I'm gonna take the fact that you said that could happen and just take that as gospel. That's gonna happen.
I mean, you're hoping that he doesn't do it, which is fine. You're a hater, but it's obviously gonna happen. He's obviously going deep tomorrow. It's just gonna be so sweet, and it is second at bat to right
I would
field.
love to do a I don't know. Who's going to hit a homer, who's going to hit the most giant home runs or the Dodger home runs against each team to get like a counter or something. I don't know. I don't even know how to do that. How would we even set that up? Who knows? I just want to root against Shohei. I want to boo him. I want to create all the crazy chants and chant all the crazy – there was a bunch of stuff on Twitter that was going on that was like someone would create a chant and, oh, my gosh, you guys are obsessed with us. And it's – I don't know. There's some weird stuff going on. There's some weird stuff going on.
If he wasn't a Dodger, if he was any other team, maybe not in the NL West, but I don't know.
Any other team? No, ask the question because I'm gonna
literally
fall right
any
into
other
your trap.
team. Yep. Would you still hate him with the news that came out, everything that?
Nope, not at all.
Because it just seems like fans are turning just to turn on him because he's not on their team.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. There's a lot of things like when you go to a baseball game and you're at the game, you're gonna boo players that you like because they're on another team. You're gonna say things that maybe you might not necessarily think is true, but you're just trying to like get in their heads or whatever. You're gonna say things at a baseball like I mean if there was a chant that they were going against Shohei that he bet it, I don't know what the chant would be, but they said I would join in. Do I think that he bet? I don't know, maybe, but do I think it's a huge deal if he didn't bet on baseball? I don't think it's a big deal, but you know what? He's also on the Dodgers, so it's a huge deal. So Fuck that guy.
Yeah, but see, that's what I'm saying. Like
Right.
you have to hate him. You're a San Francisco Giant fan. You have to.
100%.
But I'm saying like I've seen other takes, and it's like if he was in any other team, you wouldn't be this vile. Like you would not act like you hate him this much. Like come on, like
I mean, for
all of a
me,
sudden you care about uh gambling. Like
right, right.
all of a sudden people care about Pete Rose.
Yeah.
Like come on.
Yeah, all of a sudden people
You
care
weren't
like
advocating
MLB
for
is
him
crazy
2
about
weeks ago.
we got to cut down on gambling, but listen to this commercial for DraftKings.
And on the bottom ticker,
you know what I mean? Like
sponsored by DraftKings.
Yeah, exactly. Like I don't in all honesty, if we're being 1,000% honest, I even like it if guys could bet on baseball, but they were like they bet on like it was public and they bet on their own team. Like there was, I mean, you look at basketball. I mean, technically, I'm sure they're not allowed to bet, but I mean, how many times have you seen that clip of Kobe Bryant, talking shit at the free throw line? He's like, "You don't think I can make this? How much you want to bet? How much you want to bet?" Like, I would even like if it was public and it was, for sure a way to not make sure that people aren't throwing games and that they aren't betting against, against themselves. I wouldn't even mind if they bet on baseball if they're betting on themselves.
I think you open up a big can of worms if you let
right,
them bet
exactly.
like
it would be impossible to do, but I'm just saying I wouldn't mind it.
But I wouldn't care if they're betting on other sports. If they're betting on other sports, who cares? It's not
you're
whatever.
A grown man. Do whatever you want. But if you're a grown man on the Dodgers, I will hold you to the full extent of the law, and we are a nation of laws. You need to be prosecuted, okay? I mean, it is what it is. I mean, like I said, like if he was on the Rockies and the Rockies were in town, like I was going to Oracle and the Rockies were in town, would I join in a chant about him betting? 100%.
Yeah. I mean,
you know what I mean? But it doesn't mean that I actually think he bet, or it doesn't mean that I even care if he bet. It just means you're at the stadium. You're part of what's going on over there. I'm going to boo. I'm going to do chants. It's all of it.
Yeah, exactly. What I'm saying is like, I don't want any empathy for the guy. Like, whatever. Like, I know we're the Dodgers. You're supposed to, they're easy to hate and everything. I get that part. I'm just saying, like, some of these fans were looking up the contract and being like, oh my God, he might be able to opt out. We might be able to get him. And then all of a sudden, like when it wasn't possible, it's like, oh, F that guy. You get him out of the
even
game.
If he could opt out, why would he opt out? Because like that makes no sense. Like he wouldn't opt out. And even if he could, let's say he did, who is he going to sign with? Like he just chose the Dodgers. Like I don't know. It would be really dumb.
It's been a long week of some really interesting takes.
Yes.
That, but most of them are just funny. But
yes,
I feel like he's just going to put the noise out of, I feel like he's one of those guys who can mute the noise around him and just go to work. So I'm not really
definitely possible. Or he's a guy who does little games like, Michael Jordan did the quarter thing on The Last Dance. He's doing flip ball games with, interpreter, same guy who bets. He probably bets all the time. But I find it funny. I know we kind of already talked about this, but I just find it funny where like there is people banging on the Dodger fans, banging on the table. Like, I know this guy, he would never, you really think he would do? I've known you don't know the guy. Like, shut up. He's not your brother. He's not, you don't know him. He could be betting. So like, stop banging the table so much and just be like, just tell the truth. You know what? If he bet, who cares? Just as long as he didn't bet on baseball. Obviously he wasn't throwing games. He was the best player on the fucking planet. You know what I mean? Like, there's no way he's throwing games.
This happened when he was on the Angels, and they were such a bad team. Like, he could have easily just not tried.
Right. And I'm sorry. Here's the thing. I know I'm a Dodger hater, 100%. But I live in Southern California. Most of my closest friends, my wife, all of her family, they're all Dodger fans. So I love the people. I hate it when they bring that up, and I hate that part of them. No one's perfect. Everyone has flaws, and that's their flaw. But let's not pretend that if he was on the Giants, if he was on the Diamondbacks, if he was on the Padres, Dodger fans would be going just as hard about him betting and all this kind of stuff. Like, this thing is, oh my gosh, I can't believe the lack of empathy people are having for Shohei. Like, shut the fuck.
sometimes you're like, let's just keep some of that stuff in the drafts because like I remember how hard I went after Tatis.
Right.
Or literally anybody who has some sort of scandal and it's funny.
Right.
If I can
Exactly.
make it funny, then I'm gonna make it funny.
100%.
And if I can,
And it's like
even
not even like
Otani,
you
like
truly,
even my
truly
own team,
believe or it really bugs you, but it's like we're gonna talk about it because it's funny.
yeah. I mean, even my own team, like if you can't make fun of yourself, then life is gonna
Use a
suck
hoe.
because you gotta at times make fun of yourself.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, we went on a tangent right now. We
a
just got
little
heated
bit.
up about Shohei
Yeah.
just being a degenerate better, and I'm sorry. Let's
Jesse
get
went
back
off
on
about how
track.
much he loves SoCal and the people who love the Dodgers, and
Mm-hmm.
thank you for that
It's true.
segment. We appreciate it.
You're welcome, and I retract everything. I was under coercion. My last prediction of the season. I got to be honest with you. I was earlier when we went over the infields. I was saying like, oh, man, Marco Luciano doesn't look good. He obviously needs time in AAA. Yada yada yada. This past month, he's been on fire. Okay, he was doing so bad in spring, but then brought his spring OPS to like I think it was just under 9 or over 9. You give him the job, man. I'm sorry. He's got to have the job opening day. I mean, you got to have Nick Ahmed there to back him up. I get it, or maybe even Tyrus Fitzgerald, have him there to back him up a little bit and figure it out. But my prediction is that Marco Luciano. Here's the thing. I don't want to put too much on him. I don't think he's going to be that guy this year, but I think he's going to be very serviceable. I think he's going to be above average. And the only way to quantify above average is Marco Luciano is going to have over 100 OPS plus this year. That's it. Boom.
All
Marco
right,
Luciano,
boom.
future MVP, but not
Yeah,
this year.
and for people listening and taking notes, we're more than glad, when you'll tell us later that we were wrong on all of these.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm pretty sure I'm going to be right on every single one of them. So,
Right.
yeah.
And if you're Otani, you're probably betting on it. But speaking of bets, let's talk about this NL. We're done with kind of predictions. Our predictions. We're going to do predictions, I guess, together, maybe separate. We're one entity, or we're not. Who knows? But let's go. Let's do these wins of these teams, and we're going to do the full NL West because why not? We're here.
You want to start from the bottom?
Let's start from the bottom.
Okay, so at the
Start
bottom,
from rock bottom, so you know
rock
who that
bottom.
means.
Let's go to the rock bottom, the Rockies. They're at 59 wins. What do you think? Are you taking the over? Or are you taking the under on that?
They're so bad, man. But 100 losses is still kind of hard to do.
I don't know, man. They didn't make any moves except for what? Get Jay Cave?
Right. But I kind of believe in Chris Bryant a little bit, but then again, yeah, I'm going to go over. I think it's be around there. But to lose like 102, 103, I don't know. I think they'll lose 100, so I think they'll probably lose like 62. I'm going to go over. Slightly over, but over.
No, I'm going under. I mean, the division just got way better, pitching wise and everything.
Right. If I get them all right, if it basically at the end of the year, if I get them all right, then I get to just slap you for 4 times in a row, five wrong. But if it's like half and half, then we won't slap box. We'll just call it.
Okay. Yeah, they're just so bad, man. They're Oakland Athletic bad. So yeah, I think I'm taking the under on them.
Okay, I like that.
And then you got the Diamondbacks that they're slated to win 83 games.
83 games.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go. I think
actually, before you give your prediction, they've got all 3 of the Giants, Padres, and Diamondbacks at 83 and a half.
Okay, I don't want to give it all away, but I'm actually thinking they're all going to be right there. I'm going to go over on the Diamondbacks. I think it'll be more like 85.
I kind of want to agree with you, but I also think that last year
go opposite
might have been a bit of a fluke.
I like that.
So yeah, I'm gonna go under. I'm gonna go 80 wins. That. 80
Give
wins.
It to
80
me.
wins flat.
All right.
Yeah. Especially since I got the other 2 teams winning. I mean, winning the wild cards. So yeah.
Okay. I
Yeah.
like that. All right, then. Well, what's that? We got the Padres.
The
I don't know
Padres.
if that's completely in order, but you just said it yourself. They're still at the same 83 wins.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to take the over there as well. I think they're going to be closer to 85.
I'm just gonna give everybody the under, huh?
Yeah,
Uh,
and then I'll give everyone the over except for the Dodgers.
Um, I don't know. They're relying a lot on their young kids. They got a lot of
Mhm.
kids and Merrill. They actually he's the only young one, right?
Yeah,
Um,
everyone's they got a banging lineup. There's just the
yeah, they
starting pitching
do.
is what are we doing here? And then their bullpen is like the you lose Hater. I mean,
But
I know
it's
they signed a couple guys, but they also lost Nick Martinez. Ugh.
but it's the Padres, man. I feel like when things are good, everything is perfect. One thing goes bad, and all of a sudden
Right,
they don't know how to win. So
right.
I'm gonna take the under. I'm gonna go 82 wins.
Yeah, the Padres are the Mets of the West Coast. They always find a way to fuck it up. I'm gonna still stick with
Exactly.
my over, but yes, I feel like that. I feel like Diamondbacks and Padres, you can go either way technically. My homerness will not allow me. I'm gonna take over the Giants one because my homerness will not allow me to go the under here. I'm gonna go way over. I think they're gonna get closer to 88 wins. Last time they won
That's
88 wins.
that's bold,
There was
man.
a parade involved, so 88 wins.
I'm gonna take the over. I feel like they're like an 85 win team. I I do like their rotation, and then Ray might come back at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, I feel like they can win 85 games this year, and then lose to the Dodgers in the playoffs. If that gets them in
Mm.
the playoffs to meet the Dodgers, then it's perfect, and I hope that happens. So that's my reasoning for saying they're gonna hit the over.
They won. I mean, it's hard. I mean, every season's different. They were really close to 500 last year, fell apart at the end. Um, you know, I just feel like they got so much better this year. I I I feel like for sure it could jump up 7, 8 wins to 88. So um yeah, 88 wins is where I'm going.
Okay, cool. And then you got the big bad Dodgers at 104 wins.
The big bad wolf. How did that story end?
I don't know.
He died, I
I,
think. I
I
actually
don't
don't remember
recall.
it, but
I
he's probably
don't.
dead somewhere.
That's a fairy tale though, so I don't
Mm.
know. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna take the over. Obviously, they got too
Okay.
much talent to not win more than 104 games.
Right.
Even just by like falling ass backwards into those wins, they're gonna find a way to win a bunch of games. So I
I
think
think I mean, I just feel like their starting pitching is not as good as some might think. And I think they're going to be really close. If all honesty, I think they're going to be right there. But because my homerness will not allow me to pick the over here, I'm going to go under. I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be like 103, 102 because it's what 103 and a half, I'm guessing, right? If it's over under. So
no
103
104 and a
would hit
half.
the under. 104
Yeah,
and a
yeah,
half.
yeah.
Oh, so yeah, definitely under. I think that the Dodgers are sick of winning 100 and plus games and then I think they're going to do things like I don't want to say throw games, but I think what they're going to do especially when it comes to the end of the year is like yeah, dude, we're going to call this guy from AAA to give some guys some rest. I don't think they'll
Well,
set their superstars, but they also might not be running things out. They're not really going to care. Yeah, I'm
yeah,
going to go under.
I think the focus is not on the regular season this year
Right.
at all. As long as they can get through it healthy and they can, solidify their spot in the playoffs, I think that's all that really matters.
Right.
Um, Plus, you got to have guys, get back into the rotation once they come back, like Kershaw and Gonsolin. So you got to give them days. And I think Yamamoto, they're gonna try to keep him on the same schedule as he was in Japan. So they're gonna find ways to like give guys rest. So yeah, I mean they'll still find a way to win 105 games, but I don't think that's the most important thing for them.
No, but then again, that's probably where they fuck up when it comes to this new playoff format too. Um, and just one little nugget, just to talk shit. You know, everyone cried about them sitting and how terrible it was. That's why they lost last year. Oh my gosh, they were cold. From their last game to the first game of their series, you know how many days was in between?
How many?
5. Do you know
So
when? Huh?
So a week.
Yeah, 5. Do you know how many days they had off when they played the Giants had off when they played the Dodgers in 2021?
Irrelevant.
4. So, if you want to use that argument,
in 2020, what was it? 2021.
2021.
Who won that series?
Well, if you want to use the same crybaby logic as the Dodgers, well, it's because we sat at home and oh my gosh, we weren't hot and yada yada yada. We didn't get swept like you guys did with the Diamondbacks, but so we can do this all day.
That's fine, but all-time playoff record against each other. Who's up?
That's true.
Who's up?
That is 100% true. There's a lot of time left, but when my point is maybe they do go hard at the end because maybe they're thinking, well, we took off the brakes before, and we got cold, so maybe we just turn up the heat. Maybe let the pitchers rest, but hitters should still go hard. I don't know. That's the only logical thing to me, but who knows?
I mean, everybody talks about the Dodgers and how they've lost, but the Braves have done the same thing.
That's true. I just think the Braves had a World Series in 2021, and they haven't had the long success since 2013. So that's maybe the difference, maybe. But
Hey, but they were the best team in the league last year, and they still lost in the first round. So
100% true. Yeah, but but they also, I mean, I don't know why I say hate this because fuck the Dodgers, but I mean, they also didn't lose to a team like the Diamondbacks. They lost to the Phillies. The Phillies are really good, but then again, the Diamondbacks beat the Phillies, so that kind of defeats my argument. But at the same time, Phillies are way better than the Diamondbacks. You know what I mean?
All right. And with that, we close our predictions and over-unders on the division.
Yes. Rejoice, baseball fan. We made it. It's here. Opening day. It's a great time.
Yes. Finally, we get to see our teams tomorrow. Hopefully, one of our team wins. The other one starts off with a loss.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Hopefully, the Giants, do what they do
best.
best.
Slap the Padres. I get it. We complete each other's sentences. But thank you guys so much for
revenge
listening.
game, right? Revenge game for Bob Melvin.
That's true. I would say Blake Snell, but he's probably not there at the moment. So, who knows? Thank you guys for listening, hanging out with us. Make sure to subscribe to us on your favorite podcasting platform, as well as YouTube. Help us get those numbers up. Like everything. Make this thing huge. Please, por favor. I'm eating beans and rice. I'm withering away, as you can tell. Follow us on Instagram, Benches Cleared P, Twitter, Benches Cleared Podcast, and TikTok, Benches Cleared.
Yeah. Thank you guys, and super excited for tomorrow, man. Hopefully your favorite teams win, except if your favorite team is the Giants.
I like that, but opposite. Thank you guys. We'll see you next week, which will be a day late because, Dodgers and Giants are playing that Wednesday. So pod will be on Thursday, later in the day, not at midnight.
We'll be recapping that whole series.
Come hang out with us.
Come hang out with us.